Hey, English 94, this is an overview of our syllabus. So I assume you've already read it or at least looked at it. This is me just explaining the highlights, so it might be helpful to watch the video as well. Let's get started. All right, so this is what our syllabus looks like. That's me over there on that picture. So to get here, you could have clicked the link from where I sent it to you in your email or the link on the menu list to the left in Blackboard that says syllabus. The syllabus outlines the goals of the class and the way that it will work and all the expectations that you as a student should have of me and me as your professor have of you. So let's get started. The very first thing that it talks about on your syllabus are my office hours. So this is a summer class, which means that I'll be available online on Tuesdays from noon until 1. When I say available online, I mean I'm probably on my computer, in my email, grading, whatever the case may be. If you send me an email, I can always send you a link. We can meet up in Zoom and talk about whatever it is that you need to. Please, please, please don't be afraid to use those. The next thing that it says, and you'll see that it's highlighted here because it's really important, is that this is an online class. I hope you knew that before you signed up for it. So the absolute most important thing you can do to be successful in this class this semester is to make sure that you have reliable internet. You will need it. You will probably need it every day. So I tell people to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, because sooner or later, something's not going to work. Also, I try very hard to make sure that everything that I'm asking you to do in this class is compatible to your phone. So at the end of the day, I guess that could be your last backup in terms of how you want to access the materials and the work for the course, but just have a plan. Beyond that, English 94 is a really cool class. It's integrated reading and writing. So we're going to read some interesting things, including a whole novel. We're going to talk about them, we're going to discuss them, we're going to apply them to our lives, and we're going to write about them. That's what we're going to do in the class, right? And it's my hope that through doing that, we're going to meet our course objectives, which are to make you sure that you are ready for the reading and the writing that you're going to be asked to do as you move forward in your college classes. And as you move forward from where you are in your life, we're going to think about what works for us, what doesn't work with us, and really develop strategies to be able to do things in a way that's easy and effective. That's my goal. Beyond that, this is an online class, as I said before. So there's a couple of tools I want to talk about in terms of things that we're going to use to be able to work together. So I know some of you have had online classes before. This class is what is called an asynchronous class. That means that there will not be a time when all of us gather together in Zoom somewhere to talk or chat or meet. All of the work that you'll do will be done pretty much independently on your own time. So keep that in mind. All of your assignments are in Blackboard. Everything that you need to access is in Blackboard. So making sure that you know how to log into Blackboard and that you look at it daily is really important. Beyond that, I just want to talk a little bit about the layout of the class. So in this class, every Tuesday morning, you'll get an email from me. In that email, it'll have what I want you to do for that week, kind of highlight it for you. It's also available to you in the calendar, but I try to remind people as we go. And you'll have a video similar to this one that explains what you should be working on in the week. Unless it's something that I've already told you is an ongoing project, everything for that week is then due by the following Monday. So how you choose to approach it, whether you want to do everything Sunday night or one thing a day, is completely up to you. But that's kind of the way the layout of the class works. Beyond that, there are two other applications that we're going to use quite frequently in this course. The second one is Zoom. So in this class, there'll be 2 times where you have to meet with me and kind of discuss what you're working on. I'll look at your work and I'll ask you questions as well so we can have a conversation. I call these conferences because they allow you to get feedback on things before you get graded on them. So those will take place in Zoom. And the other thing that I wanted to kind of mention to you was Google. So if you've looked around our Blackboard course, you'll see that there's a link that says Student Google Folders. So everything that you write in this class, you will write in Google Docs. If you don't have a Google account, that's okay. I've already created the folders for you, and I've already created the documents for you. I've already created a video that explains how to access them as well. So all of that will be there. Once you start writing in that document, you can see it, I can see it. There's no need to save, we're good to go. So we'll be doing that as well. If you're unfamiliar with Google Docs, all of that, there's also a link in Blackboard that explains how to create an account if you want to, and how to use some of the tools that are in there if you feel like you need to. But again, you don't have to, because I already created everything for you. All right, so beyond that, this is a reading class and a writing class. So I have a list of the things that we're going to read over the summer, starting with our full-length fiction novel, The Hate You Give. This novel is available to purchase in the bookstore on campus if you would like to purchase it there. It's probably also available in any other bookstore or library that you go into. It's a pretty popular book. I've also posted in Blackboard a link to be able to read it online, although that gets really difficult with the full length book, as well as an audiobook so that you can listen to it if that's easier for you. So that is the thing that if you're going to purchase anything, that would be it, a copy of the book. Particularly if you're the type of person that needs to like write in something or use Post-it notes or all that good stuff, or if you're going to be traveling a lot, so it makes it easier to take with you without draining the battery on your phone. Beyond that, I have a couple other things listed here. All of the materials will be available to you both in the reading links in Blackboard, but also in your weekly discussion board. All right, so I think we talked about all of these things. Oh, grading, right? So the class is set up to be out of 700 points. Those points include drafts of your paper, your exam, which will be over the novel, The Hate You Give, the conferences that you're required to have, and the Success Center submissions for tutoring that you're required to have. So all of these points add up, right? To help us to get to our end of the semester final assignment, which is your portfolio. So to pass this class, you have to get at least 60% of the points available to you, and you have to pass the writing portfolio. That writing portfolio simply consists of taking 2 of the papers that you write at some point in the semester, revising them again after you've gotten feedback from me, and submitting them to the portfolio committee. And they'll look at those papers and they'll say, hey, this is really cool. We think this student is ready to go on to the next class, whatever that next class may be for you. And we'll get a chance to talk a little bit more about this in week 2, but I kind of wanted you to understand a little bit now about how that grading works. There are rules to submitting that portfolio. So as I said before, in order to do that, you have to have earned at least 60% of the points in the class that are available before we submit it. You can't be in violation of the attendance policy. They have to be essays that you wrote in this class this semester, and I have to have seen them. We have to have talked about them. We have to have gotten feedback from me on them. So just keep those things in mind as we're moving forward. And the last thing I want to talk about in this video that I think is important is just the idea of how this class is going to work. I've said for the millionth time now, it's an online class. That means part of this is that you have to regulate your time. So I want you to know really clearly what you're getting into, right? To be successful in this class, you really have to have about 5 hours of your week scheduled just for English 94. Those weeks in the beginning of the semester are going to break down to probably about 3 hours of reading, and then 2 hours of either watching instructional videos or writing or doing assignments. I'm just being honest with you, right? In terms of thinking about what your schedule looks like, because I know that you know your life better than anybody else knows your life. And so you have to think in the beginning, how am I going to plan this work out? With that said, right, that 5 hours is an average of what it takes. So if you know for yourself that it takes you longer to read something or longer to write something, then you're going to want to plan for more hours than that 5 per week. But whatever you decide, I highly suggest that you really do plan it. Write it down, put it in a calendar. If you're me, set 4 alarms in your phone, because if you don't set aside a specific amount of time, a date, and a place to do your work, most of the time, life will just eat up that time, whatever that might be for you, work, family, kids, anything, right? So just be very careful that this class does take a very set amount of hours to do well in. And there is a direct correlation between how much time you put into it and how well you do. So if you're concerned, then plan for more time. All right, and I think that's all the things that I really wanted to share via this video, assuming, of course, that you did read the whole syllabus. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email me. You can email me as much as you want, as often as you want, whenever you want. I will not return your email at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I will get it when I wake up the next morning. The more you can communicate, the better. I promise you're not going to get on my nerves. And I look forward to working with all of you this semester.